Look, real quick. Have you ever had one of those months where you didn't buy anything crazy? You didn't go on vacation. You didn't splurge on anything stupid. And yet, somehow, your bank balance is lower than last month. You're sitting there like, wait, where did my money even go? Because here's the thing. It's not that you're bad with money. It's that there are financial rules you were never taught, and you're accidentally breaking them every single day. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about why normal people who do everything right still feel broke. And today, I want to walk you through some hidden financial rules, the ones that quietly control your money, whether you know them or not. And fair warning, some of these are uncomfortable because they challenge a lot of advice we've all been told. Hidden rule number 1. Budgeting doesn't create wealth. It only slows the bleeding. Here's the thing. We've been taught that budgeting is the key to financial success. Track every dollar. Cut back on lattes. Stop eating out. But look, budgeting doesn't make you rich. It just keeps you from going broke faster. In fact, a study by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the average household already budgets within their income, yet over 60% still live paycheck to paycheck. So if budgeting was the solution, that number wouldn't be that high. The real rule? Income growth matters more than expense control. If your income stays flat, no amount of spreadsheet discipline will save you long term. Hidden rule number 2. Your biggest expense isn't what you think. Most people think their biggest expense is rent, or their car, or maybe food. But look, your biggest expense is time mispriced. Every year you stay underpaid, every year you delay investing, every year you wait until you feel ready, that's money you never get back. According to Fidelity, waiting just 10 years to start investing can cut your total retirement wealth by more than 50%, even if you invest more later. Which is wild, because nobody frames delay as a cost. But delay is expensive. Hidden rule number 3. Debt is more psychological than mathematical. People argue about interest rates all day. But look, debt doesn't just cost money. It costs mental bandwidth. A study published by the American Psychological Association found that financial stress directly reduces decision-making quality, similar to lack of sleep. So when you're stressed about money, you make worse money decisions, which creates more stress, which creates more debt. That's the loop nobody warns you about. Hidden rule number 4. Most financial advice is written for a different life. This one explains a lot. A lot of financial rules were created when housing was cheaper, college cost less, wages rose with productivity. But today, housing prices have increased over 300% since the 1980s, while wages have barely kept up with inflation. So when someone says, just save 20% and you'll be fine, that advice might not fit your reality. The real rule? You must customize financial rules to your era and situation. Hidden rule number 5. Wealth is built quietly, not visibly. Most people think wealth looks like something. Cars, watches, trips. But data from studies like The Millionaire Next Door consistently shows that most millionaires live below their means and avoid visible status spending. Which means if someone looks rich, they might be. Or they might just be very good at spending. The hidden rule? Wealth is usually boring while it's being built. Hidden rule number 6. Middle-class stability is often a trap. This one is uncomfortable. Here's the thing. Stability feels safe. A steady paycheck, predictable expenses, just enough left over to feel okay. But stability often kills urgency. A Federal Reserve report showed that nearly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing, and many of them have stable jobs. Because when income feels secure, we optimize for comfort instead of leverage. The hidden rule? Comfort slows financial progress more than struggle does. Not saying you should suffer, but awareness matters. Hidden rule number 7. Lifestyle creep is silent, not loud. Nobody wakes up and says, "Today, I'm going to ruin my finances." It's small stuff. A nicer phone, a slightly better car, subscriptions you barely notice. Here's a stat that surprised me. According to J.P. Morgan Chase Institute data, spending rises almost dollar for dollar with income increases for most households, which means every raise quietly disappears. The rule is simple, but brutal. If your spending rises automatically, wealth never compounds. Quick question, and I actually want you to think about this. What's the one comfortable expense in your life that you know slows your financial progress, but you keep justifying anyway? I'm not talking about anything dramatic. It could be a car payment, subscriptions, eating out, lifestyle upgrades, whatever. Drop it in the comments. No judgment here. This stuff is invisible until you say it out loud. And if you're watching this thinking, "Yeah, this hit a little too close," comment "aware" below. Because awareness is usually the first step out of the trap.